Okay, so today I'm joined by Frans Mlambo, who comes up. He's going to be fighting at PFL, and he's going to be fighting in a rematch against someone he's already defeated. He's been around for quite some time on the Irish scene. He's fought in so many different promotions, and I want to take time out to thank you personally for coming on, because I know you're a busy man. It's coming up to fight week. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm good. No complaints. Feeling good. Ready to go. Not too long left now until my fight. So, yeah, ready to go, man.
Perfect. I would assume most of the hard work's done up until this stage. So I know it's not fight. What does fight week look like for you? What does it entail? I know obviously there's a weight cut. What way does that work? How do you manage fight week nowadays compared?
You just kind of like you taper down, really, isn't it? Like it's tapering down, and you're just kind of really concentrating on getting the last few pounds or whatever you have left. Uh, Basically, yeah. Last week is weight cutting. Obviously, then when I get to Berlin on Wednesday, we'll get the itinerary and all that kind of stuff. But fight week is just yeah, chill, man. Just getting ready for war at the end of that week.
Perfect. You've been here many, many times before. What like does how do you manage a weight cut now? Is it an easy weight cut? Is it a hard weight cut? Is it something you've managed throughout the years? Because I would speak to most of the amateur fighters, and they talk about it being disasters when they first start. And was that similar for you? Is that something that, as a process as a fighter, that you just have to kind of go through to find the right fit? And do you have a nutritionist, or what way does it work?
Yeah, no, I flipping like I just I think I've been doing it so long, man. That is just it's just so I have like a certain routine kind of I nearly go into where it just falls through. Like I don't know, it's way easier for me I find than other people I see around me, like cutting weight. Even fight week, like I felt savage. Like last week there, like when I actually was like, right, we'll start cutting now. One of the days I ended up dropping 3 kilos in the one day where I actually only planned on dropping a kilo and a half. You know what I mean? And I only had like 4 kilos, so I had to put on some more weight, so I'm not too light. Do you know what I'm saying? So
That
I'm flipping grand when it comes to weight cutting, man. It's just I don't know, whatever way I do it, it just works for me. Like you know what I mean? It just works.
That's good. That's good. You have a routine. I've never heard of someone dropping too much weight and then having to put some on.
Yeah,
Come
yeah, yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
it's usually
It's
people are stressed
madness.
out. Usually people are stressed out. But obviously, like you said, you've been doing it for so long, and you've got to a stage where it's just routine for you. It's easy. So,
Yeah,
when you're coming up to a fight, I say fight week, are you just like you just dying to get in there, or have you learned? Because
yeah.
that's another thing. Like, do you learn to manage those? I don't want to say nerves, but emotions. Of wanting to get in there, or do you just dying to get into the cage and get that scrap done?
Yeah, well, that's the main thing. Really, fight week, really, what you're actually thinking about is weighing in. Do you know what I'm saying? And then once you're weighed in and all that stuff, you're hydrated, your food is in, then you're thinking, oh shit, now it's time to go. You know what I'm saying? You're like, tomorrow it's going down. And then that evening you're going to sleep thinking, I'm gonna wake up and then I'm gonna get ready, and then we're gonna do this. You know what I'm saying? It's excitement for me. It's excitement. You know what I mean? I've come to a stage now where the nerves aren't there no more, man. I have to kind of like psych myself up or try to make myself nervous nearly because it's good to have nerves. I want to have the nerves, but I'm just too chill when I get in there nowadays, like in the last few years, anyways. So yeah, I'm just chill and just ready to go. Yeah, I don't know, man.
I think it's because you've been around for such a long
I
time.
think so. Yeah, I've done it. So like I've done boxing and then I've done a few pro kickboxing fights, obviously amateur MMA and then pro MMA. Been doing this a very long time, and like I understand certain aspects of it real good. You know what I'm saying? Still learning, obviously, certain aspects, but weight cutting and all that kind of stuff, I have that down to a T, bro.
That's good. That's good. And
Yeah,
we talked about you being in so long. Your first fight was in 2013. So you've been going at it 10 years. Just talk to me about what you've seen in the ways of evolution in MMA, be it training, skill level. Like, you've been around for a long time. What have you witnessed? Like, have you just seen it just go from strength to strength? Obviously, it's quite popular now compared to then. But the likes of training, rule sets, safety, like, has that improved dramatically? What's one of the biggest things you've noticed in that time?
Yeah, no, definitely. Like you said, everything has gotten more official. Like, you know what I mean? Like the guys, like the some of the guys that we, because I actually remember just there, I actually kind of had an idea where um Kieran Clark was doing the bags, right? And I was like, he's deadly, like, you know what I mean?
Like,
And then no, just in general, like not just on the bags, just in general. And then I was like, I actually remember like him and his brother back then. They were coming in, and they were just the kids coming in. You know what I mean? I was still kind of, I wasn't a big dog, but I was there already. And then now he's flipping huge. You know what I'm saying? And he's doing daily. And so yeah, things like that. Like I've seen so many kind of guys coming up and all that. Not just in my gym, but in the sport in general. There's loads of flipping guys coming up that are just flipping savage, man. And then obviously in that kind of line of thinking, then I'm thinking, what's it? When I was in the IMMAFs, it wasn't so as official as it is now, and now everything is way more official. You know what I mean? Things that I did before is different now. It's more proper now. Do you know what I mean? I'm kind of losing my point here, but
no, keep
I'll
going,
let
keep
you
going.
move on.
Like, you're good, you're good. You talk like there is between safety official, and like that you were saying when Kieran all came in, they were just kids, and now you see what Kieran's doing. He's 7-0,
Mm.
in Bellator, and like you look at the likes of Nate Kelly's from your gym, young Nate,
Yeah, yeah,
big
yeah,
Nate,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and you look at him,
yeah.
how long he's been training. Like what's coming up underneath, like from those like teen years coming up now. Like what do you think the future is going to be? It's because they just seem to be when they're coming out 18, 19 into amateur now, they're flying out the gates.
Oh, mate, there's flipping. But I'm saying, like, I like if I had to give you a list, man, there's so many guys like that you're looking at, you like even like Dara Kelly there, right? I was training with him, and I was like, this guy's so strong, like, do you know what I mean? And mate, there's just loads of guys like, yeah, the sport's just getting harder and harder and better. Obviously, like even that goes with the training as well. Obviously, like the more skills there is, the more skills we're kind of learning to, like, to get out of certain things, or to gain certain things. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's not boring in anyways.
Yeah, no, it's you've been in a good while, and talk to us about why you got in the first place. What led you to martial arts? Because, like we said, it would kind of around the time you got in, it wouldn't have been as popular now. A lot of people would have frowned upon it. It's still frowned upon in some places as well, and
Mm,
vice
mm,
versa.
mm,
But
mm.
what led you to martial arts? Because a lot of people go down the route of boxing, kickboxing. What led you to?
Yeah, that's what I started in was boxing. Like I came to MMA from boxing. And but I was like, the reason I stayed in boxing for so long is because, like, I genuinely at the start I just wanted to try it out, and it just so happened that I was actually good enough at it, like, so I kind of just stayed with it. And then like amateur boxing, man, starts getting flipping hectic. I don't know, especially in Ireland, though, that's just the way it is anyway. But it's very political. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of background kind of stuff you kind of have to deal with. It's not too different to MMA, but obviously with boxing, all them things are just more enrooted in it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So I just started getting sick of it, man. And then I ended up getting an injury at a point where I was about to, like, you know what I mean, start trying to, like, looking into tryouts for the Olympics and all that kind of stuff. And then I was like, no, I'm not gonna wait another bleeding year or whatever. I mean, 4 years. You mean for the whole thing to come around again? Then I took like a year off, but I was always into mixed martial arts. Like, and in that period of time was when we were all watching the UFC. So you know what I'm saying? And so it was just a no brainer for me to go into it, man. And when I joined SBG, it was just daily. So I just stayed there since. You know what I mean?
yeah. Like you said about boxing, it is quite political. There's a lot of kind of dodgy stuff. I know there is parts of that in MMA, but it's not run through it. Whereas I think in
Yeah,
boxing,
yeah, yeah.
it's
It's
very
rooted in boxing. That's what I. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's very corrupt. You look at like Gary Cully. I know he lost recently, but Gary Cully's one of the guys that's kind of coming up at the minute, and he actually didn't do the Olympics because he seen what happened to Mick Conlan, and he said,
Really,
"Yeah, he said I'm not going." He goes, "I'm just going to go pro and start making money. I'm not going to go
that's mad.
and just go to the final and get." scored against when it should be scored.
Yeah,
I believe that's what happened.
yeah,
Right? So
yeah. That kind of stuff happens a lot, even at the local levels, man. It's just madness. Like it's not right, especially because it's a sport. Like at the end of the day, all that kind of shit makes no sense. But yeah, it is what it is. And anyway, it's in the past for me, innit?
it is. And SBG, what led you to SBG? And how do you find it there? Because like the bodies you have in SBG, and they seem to be growing and growing. I believe John Kavanagh has over 100 pro fighters, I believe. Why did you
Mm.
join SBG, and how do you find it training there day to day?
Initially, like I just had one of my mates that was training at SBG, and he just kind of brought me down. Like I just wanted to join an MMA. I didn't know anything about SBG or any. I just like I wanted to join an MMA gym. One of my mates was in it, and he brought me down, and I just kind of fell in love with the place in it, and then just stayed away the since. But like I've changed. I've changed building with SPG 3 times. Like I started off in the Long Mile Road, you know what I mean, with all the flipping OGs, like the Chris Fields and the Paddy Houlihan's, all you know what I mean? All them kind of Cathal Pendred. I believe Ash the Bash, remember Ash the
Yeah,
Bash?
yeah, Ash Daly.
Yeah,
She was kind of the trailblazer for women in Ireland, and
yeah, yeah.
not just women in MMA in general.
Exactly, yeah. And yeah, so I went from them guys like, and then we actually moved on. People different coming. It's been a savage journey, man. But yeah, right now, like obviously just finished a class, but yeah, there's loads of pros to train with. So many guys from everywhere that you get to just move around with, like you know what I mean. So it's deadly because you look on the mat and you look around, you just have so many options and so many different styles, and you know what I mean. So training is just fantastic, man.
Yeah, because having those many different bodies, like you see, there is smaller gyms that really good fighters come out of, and then
Mm,
sometimes once they get to a certain stage, a lot of them move to the likes of SPG or your FAIs because like that you feel you need those different bodies. And for
yeah,
smaller, would you recommend that they cross train more maybe to help them rather than potentially losing their star fighters?
yeah, yeah. No, that definitely should happen, but the I think the madness then with that is that like you're fighting each other and then you just get to be training with each other as well a lot. That's probably what that won't. That's probably why that wouldn't work as good. But at the same time, there is some gyms that do that. Like, do you know what I mean? It's usually cross sports, like as in like MMA guy be going to a boxing gym and shit like that. And a lot of the guys from here go do boxing and other things in the other different gyms. Like, but I suppose that's cross training. But MMA gyms training with other MMA gyms. I don't know. You're kind of training with a lot of people. You're eventually going to be fighting, but suppose that happens anyway, doesn't it?
Yeah, does I know one or two like SPG, Tullamore and CMAC. I think they travel to each other regularly, and they've all fought
Right,
each other. A lot of them have fought each other.
right.
So,
Yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah.
see, but then entails if their two top amateurs end up having to like being top, and then they have to fight each other. Does it happen? Like,
Right. Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
it is
Yeah.
interesting.
It could be that like say if like say them two that they do that and they just it's not a thing to them fighting people they train with, but I don't know. It's a problem to me.
It'd be weird, especially if it's
Yeah.
outside your gym. But if obviously you wouldn't fight someone in your gym, but sure, you had a fantastic amateur career. You ended up obviously with the IMAS. Talk to us about that experience. Talk to us about going all the way to the end and what that meant to you at the time.
Yeah, man, it was savage. Like obviously, it was just at the start of it, but at the same time it was a world championship and I was amateur. It was good. Like obviously before I did it, I was over in Vegas for a few weeks already training there on a camp. So um, I did it. It was great. Won it. It was good. But you know what I'm saying? It's just that's it was what it was. Then, did it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's obviously in the history books and all that, but like now you're looking at it and the flipping guys are getting paid for it. You know what I'm saying? And all types of madness. So I just flipping did it and had to pay them for it. You know what I'm saying? No, it's good that you know what I mean. nobody can ever take that away from me and shit. But yeah, it is what it is now. It's just so long ago, man. It's hard to get excited about it now. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I can imagine. It's different. I speak to people just after they win it and they're over the moon, and then obviously
You
like
would be. Yeah,
yeah,
you would be for sure.
and then as time goes on, that's kind of like the peak of the amateur career, and especially now, like you said, it's improved so much. And then you went
Yeah.
on to pro, and your first fight was in a very big venue. Talk to us about that, and talk to us about
Mm-mm-mm.
walking out into that arena, Tree Arena, and for your very first pro fight. That's in my eyes, that's massive.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. But the thing is, that was what I was expecting. Do you know what I mean? After my amateur career, and obviously ending it then with that winning the world championship, I was expecting that kind of, you know what I'm saying? Like I'd expected to be in the UFC not too long after my first pro fight. You know what I mean? Or not too long after. Do you know what I'm saying? And obviously it didn't work out that way. But yeah, I was fully in with that. Like when I got into when I got into the street arena there and was walking out, I was like, yeah, this is right. You know what I mean? This is what it's gonna be now from now on. And obviously we've had up and downs and shit like that. We here where we are now, but yeah, man, it's all been, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
all it's brought us where we are, basically.
Yeah, and your story, just like you said, there's so many twists and turns, up and downs. You've been to so many promotions, Brave, Bellator. You went into that tournament Combate. How much did Ryanair charge you to bring that trophy back? Or did
Mate, I literally never seen that. I left that in Miami, never seen it. Them boys never wanted to send it over, yeah. They said it when I was over there, and I was like, "Are you guys? If I win this, do I get it?" They were like, "Oh yeah, definitely, you get it, man. Definitely, you win that. We're gonna send it over." Never got that one. Never gonna see it again. You know what I'm saying? It was a charade.
it's
That's what
Campbell
that
who runs
was.
that. He was part of the UFC.
Yeah, yeah. That was a
Because
big charade, man.
I remember you going in, and then it was just like all of a sudden you went in, and then it was just boom, you won it, and then
Yeah.
been out for quite a while since then. If like obviously if you're not comfortable talk about, has there been a reason for it? Is you can't get matchups? Were you injured? Did you take a bit of time out, or were you waiting on combat day? Were you contracted to fight then after with them, or
That's actually a part of the story I kept forgetting to tell, man. I had a few interviews and kept forgetting to tell that. Yeah, after winning that, I was supposed to have a fight with the champion, obviously. Because he wasn't in the tournament, he got injured or something, and he wasn't able to be in the tournament because the winner of that tournament is the champion. Really, that's how it goes, isn't it? Because you'd have to beat the you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So, anyways, he wasn't in it. I was meant to fight him, and I ended up getting injured or something, and then just trying to reschedule it for not too long after we did that. And then when it came around to fighting him, then he was like, he got injured or something, but he had taken a fight like 5 weeks out from our fight, like a kickboxing fight. But the organization let him do that. Like Combat Global let him do that. They knew he was doing that, and they gave him the go ahead 5 weeks outside of a fight, which flipping doesn't make any sense. Ends up getting injured. Then they're telling me I have to wait another whatever, like, and then bada bing, bada bam, time kept going and going and going, and then we were like, here, look, where I'm at now, right? I don't want to fight for this title. I was gonna win the title, right? And then have to be in Combat Global for another 2 years. Do you know what I'm saying? I didn't want that. I wanted to move on to bigger things because I was obviously was just with them to kind of chase that grand and stuff like that. And at the time, man, they were promising good things. Like it looked good, but there was other strings attached where it was going to be working out negative for my career. I mean, I'm not knocking the organization. I'm not they're a very good organization. It just wasn't good for me
yeah,
at the time. You know what I'm saying? So I ended up getting released from that then, and then just waiting around for Jameen to work because then now I was a free agent. Because what was stopping me before was because I wasn't a free agent. Do you know
yeah,
what I'm saying? So now that I was a free agent, I was waiting, and then nothing was happening. I was like, what? You know what I mean? What's going on here? I could have had all these fights, but I was told I needed to be free. But now that I'm free, nothing's just happening. And that just kept going and going and going and going and going. Wasn't hearing nothing from no one. And then ended up getting on the Ultimate Fighter then a few months later. Like, I'm talking about a good few, dude, nearly a year later. And then as soon as I get on that, bleeding a few hours later, I hear that the PFL that they give me a good deal, and I'm like, flipping hell, man. So now I have them two options to contend against, and you know, long story short, it was working out to be way more awkward to do the Ultimate Fighter thing, and the PFL was just. It just seemed to be a no-brainer, man. You know what I mean? It nearly seemed too good to be true, the shit they're offering. As to make it more clear is the consistency like that they give you. Like right now, I have 3 fights lined up. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then I have an opportunity then to make all this quid, which is only a warm up for next year, which is even more quid and more activity. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's working out grand, man. It's working out really good, and I can't wait to just get it all going.
Yeah, I can imagine like that combat day. I've heard one or two things about them, and I obviously Pal Lahan is there, and it seems to be good for him. And like you said, at the stage of your career you're at, you want to be active. How frustrating was that right, these fights were coming in, but you weren't free, and then you were free, and it wasn't happening. Especially like you said, you wanted to be active. You wanted, like, how frustrating was that for you? Going, I just want to get these fights in and get it going again.
Yeah. No, I think that was my biggest problem with Comeback Love, because even going with them initially, that was the biggest thing, was like, you know what I mean? He had gotten like so many fights in the year, and I was like, oh, they're giving out fights, so that's what's gonna happen. And it just didn't work out that way for me. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it kind of was a disappointment, really, like, because it was like, you guys are not giving what you guys offered. You know what I'm saying? And I'm still waiting around, waiting for fights. But I don't know, man. Sometimes shit works out and sometimes it doesn't. Didn't work out for me with them, but yeah, we're here now, man. Looking to take this new opportunity.
Yeah, the PFL have come in. They're really, really going across Europe. Obviously, you've got John Mitchell, who's fighting on the same card. You've got
Mm-hmm.
Nate Kelly. You've
Dylan
got
Took.
Dylan Toops on the same
Yeah,
card. You've got Will, who's with the promotion. Nate Kelly, obviously, who's
yeah,
with the
yeah,
promotion.
yeah, yeah.
You look like they're doing big things. This looks like to be the next kind of big chapter of your career. How much are you relishing it, and how much are you looking forward to your next fight? Because it is against an opponent you'd beat previously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. Like, I'm gonna put it out straight. Like, this flipping these 3 fights coming up now. Don't know who I'm fighting. Well, obviously I know I'm fighting Dominic. But regardless of that, like, it's just a warm up thing for me for the next year's tournament. Do you know what I mean? That's what my eyes are really set on. And like, I don't flip and never want to disrespect no one, but I don't see anybody beat me now. Like, because I'm going in there and I'm telling you, I'm not leaving without a victory. And if I flip and lose, man, I'm just calling it quits. I've just come too far, waited around too long to just come now and just fail. You know what I'm saying? So that's the mindset I'm going in there with. Like, you're gonna have to actually drag me out of there. Because you know what I mean? I'm going in there with a total different mindset. Obviously fought Dominic and stuff before. I liked them, kept following them and stuff like that. But unfortunately, I have to fight him and take him out. You know what I'm saying?
Perfect, perfect. And would you be looking, what way, do you have any idea of what way you'd like to finish the fight, or do you just let the fight play out as it happens? Because so many things can
Yeah.
happen. You could go in and go, I'm going to do this, and all of a sudden something goes wrong. Do you just like it to play out at the time rather than focusing on, I'm going to do it this way, I'm going to do it that way?
Yeah. No, exactly. I don't know. To me, it's just mad. Like, yeah, I like the way you asked that as well, because it is mad to like say, oh yeah, I'm gonna go in there and do this. So you don't know what's gonna happen. Do you know what I mean? But whatever happens, it's gotta be a smashing. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go up there. I'm gonna stand. I'm gonna hit him as hard as I can. He's not gonna want it. He's gonna try and take me down, and he's either gonna get choked, or if he keeps standing up, he's gonna get knocked out. Bada bing, bada bang.
Perfect. I can't wait to see it. We all know everyone else can't wait to see it. And obviously, you said you've got the 3 fights planned for the rest of the year, which is the one for next year. So you're with that little spell of inactivity. We hope to see you go 3-0, which you're promising, and then for big things next year. I'm gonna let you go. Is there anything you want to say before you go, or anyone you want to shout out? And I want to thank you for your time, because I know it's precious leading up to a fight.
Nah, thank you, man. What's it called? Yeah. Flipping Shane Gray. It's my man. He does lead from jiu-jitsu there. He trains with us as well, but you know, for a good bit of time there when I wasn't obviously fighting and stuff like that, had to work. He gave me a job doing a bit of gardening, which I flipping loved, man. But yeah, shout out to him, man, because he flipping sorted us out. And I'm actually getting looked after as well by chiropractics and Black Rock and stuff like that. They're a savage crowd, man. I'm with them there not too long. I'm in there once a week getting looked after. So as I'm sitting right now, not too long from that fight, feeling super fresh, man. And then Flow Recovery as well. One of the boys here started a city, and it's class, man. They have the ice baths and all that kind of stuff. Shit that you need for after a camp or during a camp, and you know what I mean, just in general, and especially like, you know, if even if you're doing like hard labor and stuff like that, these little things, man, to do you mad flipping. What's it? They have daily outcomes, like, you know what I mean, especially the ice baths. Get that into you. Even if it hurts, forget it into you. But yeah, so Flow Recovery has been sorting me out. Other than that, everybody at the gym and all that. I know I'm forgetting one. Graham. I want to say, I don't know. I don't want to say who the second part of that name is, because he wants to kind of keep anonymous. But there's a guy called Graham that's going about, and he sorted everything out for me, man, at the start, with the contact in the PFL and the Ultimate Fighter, and he was in all of that, and he came out the blue as well, and he's like, "Frans, what's the story?" But anyways, I'll stop going on there. But yeah, all them folk have made sure that I am at the position I am right now, ready to go and take this whole thing over, man.
Perfect. We can't wait for the takeover this year, and we can't wait for the rest of it then next year. I want to thank you so much for your time, and we will all be watching next weekend.
Thank you, sir. Have a good one.
Perfect. Thank you.
Peace.